What's up, everyone? My name is Candace Smith, and this is Pasco Connect Community Talk. I'm so excited to be here with these great people in the community. Christina Boneta with Black Lives Matter Pasco, Marlowe Jones with Pasco Young Revolutionaries, Rachel Hagenbaugh, that's running for Port Richey City Council, right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, perfect. So thank you guys for joining today, and congratulations are in order for each of you for being awarded the ACLU, right?
Yes.
Yes, the ACLU award. So congratulations. I wish I had some audience clap sound effects right now. Y'all just have to settle for my clapping, but congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that people in this community will never know the sacrifice, the true sacrifice of what it takes to be out here and standing up for what's right. So, you know, I know that that award could never cover what you all sacrificed for real, for real. So congratulations.
Definitely appreciate it though, and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we have a lot to discuss, and we're going to kick things off with a video. Rachel requested that we show this portion of the Port Richey City Council meeting. You can find the complete video online. You can find every council meeting online at newportricheyflorida.gov, something like that. Google it, it's there. Or I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, you can go to Facebook, the Port Richey City Hall, and it'll pop up on Facebook, and you can pull them up.
Okay.
Well,
okay. I have this one queued up to, what did you want to pull up exactly? Can you explain a little bit what we're about to watch, Rachel?
Yes. This past Tuesday, the chief was given a 3-minute report on the function, you know, pretty much he got a 3-minute window to report on the police department. What he chose to report on was code enforcement. And especially with me canvassing for the campaign, this has been one of the #1 issues that residents bring up because they are feeling targeted. And you know, Port Richey is a great place to retire, but not a retirement community. And we're getting all these ordinances, and it's becoming a big issue. So the chief went over a report over the past 3 years, and the numbers are pretty staggering. If you consider each fee is a couple $100s, you know, they range, and it's becoming a big talking point for a lot of residents. So
okay, well, let's check it out. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. I already have it queued up. Can everybody see it? Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to address you. And this evening, what I'd like to do is stay focused just on our code enforcement unit and brag a little bit about it. I think their importance to our city is sometimes overlooked in your efforts to remove the blight and to negatively affects our property values and help you improve our property values and our community residents' overall quality of life. The most common violations they handle include trash and debris, illegal dumping, wrong maintenance issues, junk vehicles. However, I'm going to list a few other things that are examples of the widespread work that they do throughout our city that sometimes just goes unnoticed, but this is a process. And all of a sudden, an area is in much better shape. And the reason is I think because of our code enforcement officers. What I did is identified a couple of years, put them together, and so I'm talking about the period of time between 2019 and 2021. short period of time. During that time, these four code enforcement officers issued 5,235 warning notices. They issued 702 civil citations, 343 county court citations. They conducted 143 special magistrate cases, 8 mobile home park sweeps looking for issues about deficiencies in those parks. They conducted 3 complete sweeps of all the alleys in our city. They conducted multiple vehicle signage and outdoor display sweeps as you implemented new ordinances or amended ordinances. They conducted 7 motel-hotel sweeps, resulting in over $150,000 in property upgrades and 1 motel demolition. They conducted multiple junk vehicle sweeps, identifying and addressing 76 vehicles. They did multiple sweeps of the river, identifying 22 violations of docks and seawalls in disrepair. They conducted prohibited sign sweeps in business areas, resulting in the removal of 18 illegal commercial signs. They identified 26 dilapidated properties, resulting in their condemnation and demolition. They identified 11 properties with possible foreclosure by the city attorney. They did business licensing sweeps, resulting in over $50,000 of unpaid that had previously been unpaid revenue to the city. They assisted our police department in arranging for the building up of 18 unsecured structures and getting 99 parcels cleared of underbrush to prevent vagrancy. They compiled 5 years of unpaid code fines that identified code fines that had been uncollected and arranged working with Ms. Nance to arrange for those to be paid through property taxes. And they worked in concert with the development department each time to revise the city ordinances to include graffiti, just regular signs, and outdoor display ordinance. So I think what they accomplished in a short period of time is a tremendous amount of work, and it certainly is helping to change the complexion of our city. So I just want to acknowledge them as a team. Thank you, Chief.
Okay. So that was that. So Rachel, what are your comments about what he's saying, his report? You're muted. You're muted.
Dang, I'm usually good at that. Okay. Their main issue with that is property value. Everything comes down to the property value of others. And they were bragging about over the 5,200 citations. And there were 8 trailer park sweeps. And to me, that is targeting more of the lower income. Many of those people are disabled or are on, a strict, income with Social Security, disability. So when they put these citations on a lot of our elderly and disabled, what happens is that they're able to put liens and foreclosures on a lot of these properties. And they were happy about the 11 foreclosures that they were able to ensue. And some of these, they go through the alleys. Not all the well-funded properties have alleys, off of River Road specifically. So for code enforcement, like I saw code enforcement last week in forces going down each street, looking at each home. And with me canvassing, people have been saying, oh, I've been getting code enforcement violations for my for paint peeling, for their vehicles being too dirty, for very minor things. But if someone doesn't have the physical ability to go out there within 10 days, they will be fined. And then it's just a snowball effect.
Mhm.
And I had a call even today from a resident. She said that her neighbor put out a dresser, put a sign on them for free, got coded. It was $500 after the 10 days. So this person is just moving into the city, and now they're already wanting to move out because of all these code enforcement issues. There are some language barriers, and mail doesn't always go through, which if you go through later in the city council meeting, the mayor even concludes, mail isn't always 100% safe. So I'm not liking the city targeting residents in this manner. This is a new division. Code enforcement started with one person, and they started targeting rentals, rental properties.
Mhm.
So with them doing this, it's just escalating. And now no one is safe from code enforcement, from driveways to fences to dirty vehicles. And
Right.
this isn't right. And they're proud of it.
Yeah, I did hear that in their talking, like some giggling, some laughing about it, as if, because they're thinking of the money that they're collecting from the city. And that's where it like just gets muddy, because it's like, okay, yeah, you want to collect money from the city, but the way you're going about it, it does seems very targeted. And that happens all the time, not just in this sector, but I feel that way too sometimes, even when people are driving and they're targeting certain people. And, when there's low income people, if they don't have insurance for their cars or certain things like that, they continue to just get into a hole and a hole and a hole. And nobody doesn't care, it's just like, hey, if you don't have the money, oh well, but that is people's lives and stuff. So I do understand that. And I feel like, I did hear them saying something along the lines of wanting to get rid of, I know they didn't say it in this way, but it sounded like, things that don't make the city look good. And you mentioned them targeting trailer parks, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's probably an area that they would rather it go into foreclosure.
Yeah,
Rather,
of course.
yeah.
You know why they're going foreclosure? Because it seems, I went to the last city hall meeting, and I just observed and listened, and it seems to me the city is now in the business of real estate. And it seems to me like targeting all these. Well, first of all, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And it's sad that they're doing it in this way, targeting people that they know don't have the money to pay the fines. They know it's just going to wind up being a hole that these people get sucked into. And then what happens? The city ends up owning your property. And then that's going to happen so much to where the city owns all of that. And then that'll be a high rise, or that'll be a parking lot, stuff like that, And to hear the chief brag about that just makes me sick to my stomach. It really does. Like, why don't you talk about something else, about how are the body cams? Are your officers abiding by that? I mean, how is things going inside your department internally? But you want to brag about fines and destroying people's lives. It just shows you that most of these people don't give a.
They don't care about the community.
They don't care.
They're not there to protect and serve.
It just makes my blood boil watching it and listening to him deliver that report. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, dude. This is why we need Rachel on the council. We need people of color on the council, because that order to just make that sweep like that, like they're doing, targeting these people, that's coming from somewhere. Somebody's giving that order for them to do that. We want to know who and why. you know, because we could probably prove, I'm sure, without a doubt, that it's poor people they're targeting, and that's pretty sad.
Yeah, I agree totally. So Rachel, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Just like Marlowe said, that is exactly why you're there, to, you know, sniff out those things and bring it to the community's attention, because no one knows that they're actually strategically planning, you know, these things. We just know individually, hey, I may get a ticket or something like that, but I
And
would have never known.
I just had to say, Rachel, was that at the end of the meeting? He said all that? Interesting.
Yes,
Why do they love delivering reports at the end of the meeting when they know people can't sit through all that malarkey? They love delivering. Why not do that when you got a full audience of people in the community? Why wait to deliver that little report?
Okay, that's true.
That's exactly why they do that. And they know most people leave after Vox Pop. So even if you can't stay, I always recommend people to watch online. Before, you know, me throwing my name into the ring, I would watch online and I'd be cooking dinner for the family and be cursing up a storm because I'm like, no one said anything because no one is literally there. We need more community involvement, and that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. How do you feel like we could organize that? Do you feel like per the section, like maybe somebody should be assigned to each section to like pay attention to when they're discussing this, pay attention to when they're discussing, you know, maybe the police or whatever? What do you think?
Sometimes just going, like watching the city council, because some things end up on the agenda on the docket last minute. So always pay attention for city council because there's first readings for ordinances, and you know, if no one says anything there, and it just gets put on the books. Sometimes things do come across the board on certain committees, and if, you know, the committees are open to the public as well, and the schedule for all the committees and the city councils are all on the New Port Richey City website. I wish it was nicer looking. I truly do, and a lot user friendly, but there's a ton of information in there when it comes to procedures, ordinances, permits. There's so much information. I wish there was one spot or even one department you can go to for that, because there's a lot of resources for residents and businesses.
Okay. So Christina, did you want to add any comments on that?
Well, I just want to add, you know, Rachel's really right about, you know, we need community. So I know with Black Lives Matter Pasco, we're definitely switching it up from marching to kind of doing like a people's rally where we're going to kind of go. We've been focusing on New Port Richey because it's one of the biggest cities, but Black Lives Matter Pasco does want to, like, you know, assist Pasco. So we're definitely going to go out. We've already made tons of flyers that are just kind of going over the situations, what's been going on in Pasco, you know, hitting on, you know, the pre-crime policing, hitting on the different bills going on, just, you know, getting the community informed, making them aware so it will empower them to want to come out and do what Rachel said and speak up against certain things, you know. So I think that it really just took a few of us to speak up, and now more people are speaking up. We have a woman of color running for city council, so it's definitely going in the right direction. I just think that we need to really focus on informing the community because they're not going to really do things if they don't really know, you know. So I think that that's kind of where we're going to. We're just going to start rallying in different parts of Pasco, kind of getting people together and just letting them know like what's going on in their city, what's going on in the county, and you know, trying to get people empowered to want to, you know, speak up and use their voice to change stuff. So
okay. So speaking of Black Lives Matter Pasco, what are some things that's going on with you all? I know that you're rallying and things like that. And I also know that you had a recent meeting with the city manager. How did that go?
Well, we haven't had a meeting yet. We just scheduled a meeting that we're actually going to have on the 12th.
Okay.
Yes. And basically with that, I'm really pushing for a program called CAHOOTS, which I know that some of us know about. I did put the link in there. We can pull up later, or you guys, you know, can look it up what that
I
is.
have it right here. I'm gonna pull it up and you can kind of talk about it as I scroll
Okay.
through.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, so CAHOOTS has basically been in Eugene, Oregon. That's where it started from. It's not in too many places, but let me see if I can move this. This is small. Okay, here we go. Okay, so CAHOOTS, basically what it offers what it is you have two people. One is going to be an EMT and one's a crisis handler, you could say. And neither of them are armed. They are not armed with anything. And literally for, I believe it's about 30 years, they've never had one death or serious injury. And they have, you know, dealt with all sorts of things. And it's an alternative source, basically, instead of calling the police. When you have a family member, especially if you have a family member and they're African American, Black, a person of color, and they're having a mental breakdown or they're going through something, the last thing you want to do is call the cops. That's where you have an alternate thing like CAHOOTS. And CAHOOTS offers people crisis counseling, suicide prevention, you know, conflict resolution, and you know, grief and loss counseling, substance abuse, housing. They help with housing crisis. They also have services to help transport people to different programs. They can help with any non-emergency situations. So basically, this program also saves taxpayers. I believe altogether, well, their program, obviously we don't have it, we're trying to implement it, but I believe it was somewhere around $22 million. It actually takes 20% of the Eugene's Police Department's calls, and it is dispatched to them. And again, with that being said, it's helping the houseless, the mentally ill, and it's giving people a alternative than calling the police, especially again if you're a person of color and the police end up shooting, you know what I'm saying, someone that we love because they don't know how to handle them, especially because not only do they not know how to handle mental illness, but they're already scared of you anyway because you are a person of color. So this actually gives people you know, gives people another outlet, you know. And speaking to Debbie Manns, you know, she seems receptive to it. We'll see what happens. You know, I don't know. People put on masks all the time, but it's going to save money at the end of the day, which I know that might, you know, get them to want to do something. But this is something I'm definitely going to continue to push. And if this is minimum, this is what people deserve. The minimum is a program like CAHOOTS, you know. So like definitely if they can at least implement something like this, especially with the grants, which I'll let Rachel talk to you more about that. I think she might know more, but there is like big old grants going on to help implement programs like CAHOOTS. So I am very, very, very much so an advocate for this program. You guys can do more research on that. But I'm also really wanting to get an FDLE investigation going on the new Port Richey department. There's a certain amount of police that really need to go, like Bobby Labrito. You know, that man literally, there's a video of it. I wish I could show you guys now, where he's stepping on a miner's neck, pretty much the same thing that killed George Floyd, and he's in our police force. So there's just a few things like that I really want to, you know, speak to her about. And I mean, unless they can at least meet us there, you know, I guess they're just going to keep getting interrupted and be annoyed that we come to City Hall and, you know, that we make their life miserable, they like to say. Because I mean, again, like, we deserve a program. The community deserves, everyone in the United States deserves a program like that implemented everywhere. Like, people deserve an alternate, like, how can I say, we deserve an alternate source, an alternate resource, you know, somewhere else to go. Like, you know, people are scared of the police. Black people, from the time we're young kids, we're scared of the police. We have the talk and we're just scared. So the last thing we ever want to do is call the police for help, because we never know when, like, we call them for help and it's going to turn on us. Police are not trained to deal with people with mental illness. Police don't care about the houseless. They harass the houseless and they make their life more difficult. So a program like CAHOOTS is really going to help the community. So That's really all I have to say on
You
that.
know, the only thing that concerns me sometimes with CAHOOTS, you know, and programs like that that come to certain areas is it still gets infiltrated with other people.
Oh yeah.
You know, where they go to be the first ones to get those positions, you know, and they just put on a facade like they're going to follow those rules and regulations, but it becomes more of the same thing. I really hope that they have a lot of space for people of color to be in those positions.
Well, to put your mind at ease there, again, it's the program has been operated. It's not new. It's been operated for 30 years. And like I said, it has helped. It's been proven, especially through the, you know, because Eugene's had it implemented in different places, that just the fact that you can call someone that's not the police is a win in itself. When you're having, so because at the end of the day, two people are still showing up that are unarmed and that are going to be trained to help this person with a mental illness.
Right.
So is it the cure? No. Is reform ever the cure? Not really. Like, is it going to be 100% the solution? Definitely not. Do we have a long way to go? For sure. But from where we are, it's definitely a start. And it's somewhere to start and somewhere to go, because right now, when your son, because you know you have Black sons, if there's a situation, who are you gonna call? You know what I'm saying? Who can you call? Who can you feel comfortable calling? You know what I mean? Like, I know the first person you don't want to call is gonna be the police. You know, so at the very least, there'll be two people that can show up, not be armed, and actually try to have compassion and you know what I'm saying? And granted, like, you're gonna have some people that are gonna mess it up for sure, but at least like there is that alternate thing until we can do what we've talked about, Candace, having our own community thing like that, where we can be the ones that are dispatching and going to help the community that we trust, people we love, people we know. Because
Right.
CAHOOTS is definitely not, like I said, it's a Band-Aid. It's not the cure. It is not the cure. So I understand your concerns 100%, because I have the same concerns in a sense of, like, even though it's there, is it going to be used? Is it going to be implemented correctly?
Right.
Are people going to try to sabotage it? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that for sure.
Well, I'm glad that they're moving forward and there is at least a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So, you know, and I'm glad that they're inviting you to be a part of the conversation so that you can have your eyes and ears on it to make sure that, you know, they're doing the right thing. I know it's set up to be a certain way, but when it gets into the wrong hands sometimes, you know,
Well,
so.
that's a good thing. Actually, President Biden put $1 billion in the rescue plan for a federal program like this to be implemented, all to trickle down, you know, into the states and into the cities. So if we go there, you know, speaking to the city and say that there's grant money for this, we're not gonna be taking away, you know, funds. You're actually going to be getting funds to implement, you know, a paramedic and mental health. Most of the
And then we can defund the police.
Most of all the new Port Richey firefighter calls are for the paramedic, for ODs. They start going off 8 o'clock every morning, and it's for the ODs. There's not many fires, structure fires here within the city. Most of them are about drugs or it's about mental health. So
yeah, and people to help people with that, because no one's helping them.
Right.
No one's helping them with
No
their
one.
addictions. No one's helping with the mental illness, throwing them in jail, finding them, ruining their lives. And like, oh my God, almost makes you want to cry, because we need to like love our community and help them. And sometimes I don't know how to fix it all, but we definitely got to start somewhere for sure.
Yeah. I think that CAHOOTS program, when I was, you know, when we had it up on the screen, you were reading some of the things, such as it had drug assistance on there.
Yeah.
Because the ambulance and the paramedics, they're going to just treat the physical part. You know, they're not going to do anything further. So maybe that program can assist with that, because in Pasco County, yes, The
A lot. It's a lot.
out of control. I mean, I've never seen, even from the city I come from, like just blatant on the street, zombie looking people.
hmm
So really it's scary. So
In the community, I'm gonna say it again. This ain't just a Black issue. We got more white people here, and I'm gonna be real with you. It's more white people on drugs. So I don't know why more Black people being arrested, because it's more white people out here. I love y'all, but it's on drugs. So like, let's help all people, Black and white, and let's stop like, you know what I'm saying, trying to fight Black Lives Matter on the things we're trying to do, because it's gonna benefit everybody. It doesn't matter your skin color. It's going to benefit us all, especially Black folks when they're being arrested 3 times more than white people. So like,
Yeah, it's about equity, and it's not always about color. A lot of it is financial, and
yeah, a lot.
we're all at the bottom and there's a few at the top. It's everywhere, and New Port Richey is not much different.
It goes hand in hand with the class war, color class war. It's all in. Whether you're Black or you're poor, they don't care. Poor white folks, they don't care about you, and they definitely don't care about the Black folks. Whether you got money or you don't, they're gonna take you out.
okay, that's true.
Goodness.
So, you guys have brought up some very good topics and some very good things. So, Marlowe, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, what is Pasco Young Revolutionaries got going on?
Yeah, Pasco Revolutionaries, we're just staying vigilant. I attended the workshop. I wanted to kind of see what was going on with the workshop. I seen Rachel there. Just listening a little bit to hear what was going on with how quickly the city can just spend $1 million or talk about spending money. Like, it's so sickening just to hear them throw money away. But yet when it comes to social programs, it's like you got to present this and present that and do this and do that. So right now I've been doing a lot of work just with helping people in the community get access to some of the funding that has come down from the coronavirus package. Like we've been helping people fill out applications for assistance through the Pasco CARES Act, which I believe they legislated another 250 to 500 people that they're going to help pay their rent for, the rest of the year and pay some utilities and stuff like that. There's a lot of money out there, for people of color in this. Farm workers, if you know anybody that's a farm worker in your family, there's money that's available, with the PPP grants and loans and stuff like that Joe Biden extended, because a lot of that stuff was running out, but he extended it. But we just really been trying to help people get funding, because a lot of people, at least on the west side and where I live in Port Richey, and they just are having a hard time paying rent and just, staying afloat, because this pandemic has really hit people of color and just poor people hard. Not even just people of color, but poor people, which is generally the west side of Pasco. It's hit us hard. So my main focus has been really trying to get all that information out to people and help them with unemployment. We've been dealing with a lot of people dealing with unemployment issues, because that's just a disaster. The state of Florida should really be ashamed. I've been really also working with some of my friends in Tallahassee on some calls about an action, call to action with some of the bills that have been passing through committees and through the State House. As you know, Jim Crow legislation is very well on its way to becoming law in the state of Florida, which is very alarming, because it's targeting people like us. It's targeting people like us who are out in the trenches often. Pretty soon it will be legal for a Trumper to run us over and get away with it. I mean, if some of these bills, pass that are, they already told them that.
I know. I was just making a joke, because as soon as they hear it, they're on it. They're like, whoa!
They waiting for it to pass. They really,
they're waiting.
They are waiting, and so I've been really boggled down in that. I've literally attended like 2 calls a week on it. A lot of people in Tallahassee are rightfully pissed about it. And I think a lot of people in the state of Florida should be pissed about it, especially, us people that are out there in the streets, us activists, us organizers, because they're targeting us, and we didn't ask for this. It's not like someone went to Governor DeSantis or state legislators and say, hey, this is a problem, we want you to tackle it. This is something they came up with on their own. Well, we know that they didn't come up with on their own. This is like a backroom country club deal. But it's really sad. And the last thing that I've been boggled down in is helping people of color get vaccinated, because we know that the coronavirus has really affected a lot of people of color. So me and some friends have been working to direct people of color in our community to sites and places that they can go and get vaccinated. Because as we've seen with our governor, now it's pretty much like, or at least the past couple of weeks, it's been like if you got money, you could get vaccinated quickly. Right. If you got the good insurance, you can get vaccinated quickly. And we now know with this 60 Minutes interview, what the governor was doing with these vaccines. He was literally selling them to the people that donated to his campaign, like Publix, and all these other places where you got people like in West Palm and Palm Beach. You know, all the rich people got it first.
Kirk, man.
He was literally doing like pop-up shops in their neighborhoods, like just all of a sudden.
They want to talk about black folk doing some stuff.
They had people flying in on private jets, okay, in West Palm Beach to get a shot. But on the other side of West Palm Beach, the black side, they couldn't even get 600 doses.
Right. And people were outside for a long time. They were just miserable elderly people, because
they stopped all the
elderly people.
They stopped the little places where people could go. They did something on 60 Minutes where I seen that if a person in the west side, the poor side, wanted to get a shot, they had to drive 25 miles to the nearest Publix. Because DeSantis said, we're going to stop the pop-up shops where you can drive up and get a shot in your arm. You all got to go to Publix now. Why? Oh, Publix donated over $200,000 to your campaign. That makes sense. You know, so there needs to be a federal investigation.
But Publix stands with the black community, and they're behind black people's recipes and food. You know, they're all about that fried chicken. The hell, bro! Their little dang commercial. I can't.
I think we lost Marlowe, but he did bring up some good points. You know, with the governor of Florida, he is not for, you know, people of color. He's not for low income people.
Yeah, he's not for people, period.
Right. He continuously shows that in the way he moves and operates. And, you know, at this point, I'm just ready to vote him out. Seriously, just ready to vote him out. And like Marlowe was saying, an investigation should be opened up, and it probably will be, but not before he's done a lot more damage to a lot of people. Unfortunately. So do you all want to share any upcoming events that you all will be having, or any ways that people can support you all?
At this very moment, like I said, we're going to be getting together to do the rallies around Pasco, but I will say we are really going to get together, Black Lives Matter Pasco, to really rally around basically, you know, to stand with the LGBT community, the trans community, because they're like really under attack. You know, their healthcare is underneath their attack, just their human rights, just their right to be who they are. And they've showed big support with Black Lives Matter the whole way, not to mention a lot of Black trans people, Black trans lives are being lost, you know. But whether they're Black or white, though, what's important is that we definitely start, you know, rallying around these things and showing them support, because, you know, it's not okay for them to be attacked. Like, they have a right to be who they are, and they have a right to human rights, to equal rights, and they shouldn't be underneath their attack, you know, their healthcare, their livelihood, just a whole bunch of things. So, you know, we're definitely going to be making sure that we do what we can to stand with them and make sure that they get, you know, they get justice in the correct areas and things. So I just wanted to mention that. It's just definitely sad that we just live in a world where it's just so hateful, you know, especially when we live in a place where everyone's, you know, but God, you know. And it's funny how Jesus' main thing was like to love each other, but all there is just everybody hating each other, whether it's their skin color, whether it's their sexual orientation, whether they're non-binary or trans, or, you know, whether they're Jew or they're Mexican, or it's just like, is really sad, you know, that's everyone's like, let's make America great again. But it's just like, when was it ever great? It was just always hate, like always for everybody. Like, I just really want to bring that up because America has always been hateful. You know, they hate people of color and they hate the trans community just as much, you know, and within the trans community is Black folks. And to be honest with you, a lot of movements, a lot of activists, a lot of support have came from the LGBT community, the trans community. Like, you know, people don't realize it because it's not being shown and they're pushed in the background, but they have a lot to do with civil rights, you know, and civil rights movements and things. So I think it's very important that we show solidarity with them. And I just really wanted to express that. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, great. So you guys can follow Christina Boneta and Black Lives Matter Pasco on Facebook
And Instagram.
and
It's
Instagram.
yeah, Pasco BLM. You'll find it at Pasco BLM, or you could just find us on Facebook. Also, if you look it up on Instagram, you'll find us on there too.
Okay,
You just type it in, Black Lives Matter Pasco.
perfect. So Rachel, did you have any closing remarks, any upcoming events, and information where people can reach out to you?
Yes, the election's in 5 days.
Oh man.
So this weekend's gonna be our last canvassing day. It looks like Sunday's gonna rain, so I'm gonna have to maybe just stick to phone banking, but we've been phone banking this week, and we will be doing that on Monday also to get the last push for votes. If you have any questions, you wanna sign up to volunteer, donate is the last day today at midnight, and election day is on Tuesday. So I'm really excited. Either way, I feel like I won because I have council talking about things they would have not spoken of regardless. They wouldn't have even tried to put on a campaign, but I put on the heat so bad that they're worried. So that's all. I feel like I won in that regard. So I am
You're making
forward to the
noise.
next.
We're making noise. We're making history. We're making noise. We're ruffling up feathers. We got people on their toes, people being held accountable. So like,
Yeah.
whether or not you win the election or not, you won, we're going to keep pushing and we could win the next one. Like, so it's like, either way, it's,
Yeah, I'm planting seeds and that's all that matters. I want to teach other people how to run. It's not easy, but it's not that difficult if you have a plan and a focus. And there's tons of resources out there if you know where to find them. So I'm willing to help anyone who has aspirations to run. I will 100% help you out in that regard.
yeah, and that's what we need. People of color running for stuff, running for city council, running, getting involved. We got to stop letting the white people handle everything. You understand? We let them do it long enough. So let's kind of like take some of it and let's start being involved and running some stuff over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, representation matters. It
Yeah.
truly does.
It does. And I do.
Granted, it ain't going to fix everything, but it's a start.
You two women have definitely got them on their toes.
Tip toes.
They on their toes. They watching y'all move, trying to see how they should respond. And that's a big deal. So, you know, congratulations to you both. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
You guys can definitely check the description box for links to their platforms. And I want to ask anybody out there that's interested in writing for a Pasco Connect to please come on down and email pascoconnect@gmail.com because your girl needs some help, okay? So email for sure. And I can't wait till we get into this new studio and we get to really pop in like it's supposed to be for Pasco Connect and the Pasco community. So once again, yes, thank you all for coming. Until next time. Peace.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.